Now, Forecast First, brought to you by Farmer Klein and Campbell, attorneys at law.
Good evening, I'm Adrienne Robbins. Welcome to 13 News Weekend Edition. We've had some wild weather over the past 24 hours. Meteorologist Joe Fitzwater is here with me now. And Joe, we saw heavy rain, flooding, and now even high winds.
Yeah, no doubt. Really, the high winds are the big issue right now across the area. We still have the wind advisories in effect. We've seen the strong winds. Many areas seeing as much as 50-mile-per-hour wind gusts here this afternoon, causing quite a bit of trouble, especially in the power outage department where we've got thousands of power outages right now. Let's take a look at some of the video of what most of our area has been seeing over the last 24 hours.
Yeah, take a look at this amazing video just into our newsroom. High water on Dry Branch Road trapped a van. Now, we've been told everyone in the van, including the children, got out safely, but as you can see, very dangerous water out there.
Yeah, no doubt. This is the issues that we have been talking about here as far as the backwater issues. We've had high water. You get these rivers that come up here, and with that being said, that causes high water issues to take place here across the region, especially with the backwater. Again, the Kanawha River was running high over the Dry Branch area there at Piedmont Road. We also had the high water over there in the Paintsville, Kentucky area earlier today, and you can see the water very high over down in this area. We still have the flood warnings going on in these areas, so no doubt for sure. The good thing is, though, things are dry. HD Dual Live Operator looking good here across the region. We're looking at no major issues here for the next several days in the rain department. We're going to be high and dry, and that's certainly some good news. Again, though, the wind advisory still in effect here, and that is for pretty much everybody in the region. That goes through 8 o'clock tonight. We're looking at the chance for wind gusts as high as 50 miles per hour. I think the highest winds have already been experienced today, but again, some wind gusts still as high as 40, 50 miles per hour. Isolated, still not out of the question. That's going to continue to cause some issues here. Wind speeds right now, look at this, 20, 25, even 30 miles per hour across the region. So again, it's still very blustery out there as the winds continue to blow here from the west. It's ushering in some much cooler air. We saw temperatures as warm as 60 degrees in Charleston earlier today, and we're dropping down quickly. We're going to drop down into the 40s here as we head overnight. And again, those forecast wind gusts anywhere from 35, 40, maybe 45 miles per hour still tonight. And then as we head toward late this evening, we'll really start to see the winds start to die down here across the area. Now, another thing that we've got to look at is the risk for some high water. That continues here with this aerial flood warning. This goes through 9:45 this evening. And what's going on now basically is you've got those tributaries. They've been really high, the small streams, the creeks overnight. They're emptying now into the larger bodies of water. So we're talking about rivers like the Mud River and the Guyandotte River. And these rivers now are starting to rise. And that's where we're going to be checking in with Chief Meteorologist Spencer Atkins. He is going to be checking out the river here in Cabell County. He's been out there for much of the day, and he's got the latest here across the region.
I'm along the banks of the Mud River in Cabell County, which is supposed to flow this direction. It is not. It's supposed to flow this direction and empty into the Guyandotte River, which is maybe 200 yards down the way. And it's not, because this is running high, that's running high, and it's actually backing up. This is Guyan River Road, and as you can see, it's underwater. That's supposed to be a 12-foot clearance. I guarantee you it is not a 12-foot clearance, and I can't tell you how deep that water is, and you would not want to try to drive down through that area. You'll see the same kind of a thing on back roads, especially on area rivers like the Leviza Fork, the Tug Fork, maybe the Little Sandy River, and so forth. So you've got to be very, very careful. Plus, we still have the wind. It's going to drop off, but we still have the possibility of some branches dropping here or there. So be careful out and about. And again, if you don't need to be out until the wind subsides and the water goes down, just chill out, hang out, and check out the very latest on WOWKTV.com. We do have more on some school closings that have been impacted because of this. In terms of this water, we think it'll go down slowly over the next day or so, likely only coming up just a little bit more. So we're pretty much there. Looks like Route 60 is going to be okay as of this point. We'll keep an eye on it, though, and certainly let you know if anything changes. Stay safe. I'm Spencer Atkins in Cabell County working for you.
Yeah, and as Spencer alluded to, make sure to turn around, don't drown. I think just chilling this evening would definitely be some good advice because some of those waterways still pretty high here across the region for sure.
Absolutely. Emergency officials say that a lot of people try to drive through what looks like just a few inches of water, but even just those few inches can be extremely dangerous. Even with a little water on the road, drivers are at risk of hydroplaning or being swept away. Now, the higher water, the greater the risk.
Well, about 12 inches of water will float a lot of cars. Some of these smaller cars here, there's not SUVs, will probably float it. 2 foot of water will float most any car. Turn around, don't drown. Most people that we've had to rescue, they'll tell you they were in a hurry. Not because they thought they could go through it or they'd done it a million times. They were in a hurry and had that get-there-itis. Had to get there. Most people who drown during flooding events are people who were in a car.
Sigmund says even though the rain has stopped, you should plan to give yourself some extra time as the water may take a day or two to fully recede. Now, as Spencer showed us earlier in the show, Huntington and parts of the tri-state receiving roughly 2 inches of rainfall throughout the night and early morning.
Yeah, and for one resident, finding his house in great danger for sure. 13 News reporter Haley Kozik joins us now with more. Haley?
Joe, Carlos and his wife bought the house in 2007 to stay close to family. They raised kids in it and both worked so hard to make it their own. But at the same time of the purchase, had no idea what kind of problems they would be facing now.
I mean, we keep building, I keep refixing my retaining walls. The retaining walls are coming down.
Carlos and his wife have lived in the same house off Johnstown Road for the last 12 years. House is finally paid off. Life should be good.
And that's what I've done. I made monthly payments and paid taxes on my house and owned my house, and now I'm losing my house.
But his reality is fighting back the crumbling hillside directly behind it. For the last year and a half, spending nearly $20,000 to stop it.
How many times I redo my retaining wall, it just keeps coming. It's a never ending, it's a losing battle. And the only thing I can say is we can pray.
With the amount of rain the region has recently seen, the ground is soft and slipping all across the tri-state. Carlos now worrying every day his home could be wiped away at any moment.
You try not to think about it and dwell on it because it'll just make you depressed. But bottom line, you have to deal with it because it's not going away, it's getting worse. And sometimes you just feel like crying.
He says he's very thankful for his neighbors helping and showing support throughout his crisis situation. Now at this time, Carlos and his wife are doing everything they can to keep the situation under control. And as they work to find permanent solutions within the city, they just have to keep on digging all the mud and do what they can. Adrian.
Now, while the heavy rain has died down, severe winds is causing power outages across the tri-state. 13 News reporter Lily Bradley is braving the wind. She joins us now live with more.
Adrian, lots of customers still without power across much of our viewing area today. Now, the wind earlier was so bad as I was out shooting video, I was a little worried about my camera. I can tell you right now, it has died down though, and we're not seeing it quite as harsh as we were earlier. Now, this video is from earlier today on Stonewall Drive in Charleston. Severe wind causing trees and power lines to fall. And as you can see, though, crews working diligently to get that repaired. Now, right now, according to AEP, more than 30,000 customers are still without power here in West Virginia. Both Kanawha County and Cabell County have the most outages with about 5,000 apiece. Now, in other parts of the tri-state, Kentucky still has about 8,000 outages. Now, again, crews working very hard, but as you can imagine, they've been receiving a lot of calls as to that there's power outages, trees down. I can tell you they promise they're working very diligently to get that repaired, but they ask for patience as the volumes of calls have increased, and they're working very hard to get that fixed for you. Reporting in Charleston, Lily Bradley, 13 News, working for you. Adrian?
Lily, thank you. We are now joined by Phil Moy from AEP to talk more about those power outages caused by the storm and how crews are handling this situation. Thank you so much for being here. I know a very busy weekend for your crews.
Well, it has been, and I think it's going to continue to be. I mean, these high winds have been going all day long, and unfortunately, that's created a real difficulty for us because a lot of the work we do is up in buckets. And when you've got the wind still going, whipping it with gusts of 40 miles an hour, it's just unsafe to be up in that bucket and working, and especially with trees still falling and all that. So we've really got our work cut out for us.
Tell me a little bit about some of the damages that you have seen out there.
Well, a lot of trees down. That's really the main thing. The soil is so saturated with moisture, and I think some of the footage you all had before of high water and all that just shows that. Very saturated soil, and so that wind coming along is just bringing trees down, and unfortunately when it brings it down on the power line, it causes a power outage.
I know we've seen outages kind of widespread, but give us an idea of how many people are being affected right now by this storm.
Well, right now, just in our service area in West Virginia and Virginia, we've got about 40,000 customers out in Virginia, another 32 or 33,000 out in West Virginia. And this storm system, really, I mean, it started over in Illinois or somewhere like that and has moved across toward the East Coast. So it's affecting large population centers far beyond our service area. And that is another problem for us. I mean, you've got cities of 1 million people that are just clamoring for resources. It's difficult to get people in here from outside our service territory to help. We need that help. We're trying to get it, but we don't quite yet have it yet.
So let's talk about some of those down power lines, because not only are they a problem for obviously people who want their power on, but they can be dangerous while they're out there. What do you recommend if you see a power line near you?
Yeah, that's a very good question, good point. The wind will often bring power lines down. You know, trees on a line, it comes down, goes across a road or what have you. And we always want people to stay away from a power line. You can never tell, first of all, you really can't tell whether it's a phone line or a power line. Next, you certainly can't tell whether it's energized or not. So we advise everyone to stay away, to call us and let us know about it. And that's really one of the things we do in the early part of the storm is go out and look for safety hazards. I mean, I have some pictures already of places we've been today where we have it marked off with caution tape to keep people away. We don't want people going around lines. We want people to call us and let us know when they see a down line.
So Phil, my final question, what does the next couple days look like for your crews? Like you said, you guys are still battling these high winds.
Right, we don't even know the extent of the damage yet. I mean, it's still coming. So, you know, we're doing our best to go out there and restore the outages that we know affect large numbers of customers. But until the winds die down and we're able to go out there and safely assess the damage, we really don't even know the extent of the damage we have. I feel like it's going to be a pretty long week of restoring power throughout our service territory.
And you can go on the website, is that correct, to find out where power is out and keep track of all this?
You certainly can. Our outage map at AppalachianPower.com, you just go on there, click on the map, zoom in to where you live, and you can see the outage that's affecting your area. And then, too, we also offer mobile alerts and outage alerts. So just like at my home right now, I've got a text alert that says power's out at my home. So, you know, a lot of people signed up for that, and that proactively gives you the message that yes, you're out of power, and here's what happened, and here's when we believe you'll be restored. So we continue, when people are enrolled in that, to give updates as we know more information. That's a very helpful thing for people to have.
Phil, thank you so much for coming in here. Once again, I know a busy couple days for you and your crews, but good luck out there.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, and we will continue to keep you updated on this power outages. Still to come on 13 News Weekend Edition. We're not the only ones seeing severe weather this weekend. We're going to check in with weather reports from across the nation coming up next.